Sweet morning, divine angels. So, how was the weekend? I believe all of you have watched this video which I shared in the other group. Some of you have responded to it also. What did you tell yourself? So, how was your weekend? This video is self-explanatory, so maybe I don't need to say anything today. But yes, I must say how I spent my weekend. You know, this book I read a long time back. At that time, I was not into NLP. It was just a part of my hobby to read the book. And again, I don't read a book from cover to cover normally. I just take a book, open it, and start reading it. So when I read this book, I didn't have any intention to awakening my giant, by the way, giant within me. It's just out of curiosity. When I got in touch with this book, I thought about reading it, just out of curiosity. And the page which I opened up when I had this book in my hand, that was page number 76. And whatever was written there, I just eventually read that chapter. And I found something interesting over there. And the most interesting thing which I discovered was the 3 limiting beliefs. That's the only thing I picked up from that book at that time. After that, I read that many other times also. Exactly the same way the way I read a book, not from cover to cover, but just picking it up and opening it. And I got a sense of limiting beliefs for the first time when I read this book. उसके पहले limiting belief का कोई sense मेरे पास था नहीं. Probably I've heard that word many times. Even when I came to NLP, I heard that word many times. But before I came to NLP, I had some idea of limiting beliefs. And that is because of this particular book. So I thought of sharing this video with you. I don't know why, but yes, there was an inner calling. And this inner calling is that I want to design a workshop on this book. And as this inner calling came up, the first thing which came to my mind is to share the audiobook summary of this book, which is shared in my Magic of Transformation group. And then I expected some people to respond to it. A few of them responded, of course, not all. Many of them responded to themselves only. But I responded to myself. The question which I asked myself is that, am I at all awakening the giant inside me? Have I at all done it? Or maybe I have done it. The giant was awakened, but then again it went back to sleep. Because there was nothing to motivate that giant. There was nothing to inspire that giant. There was nothing to encourage that giant. There was nothing to empower that giant. There was nothing to enlighten that giant. The giant got up, but it didn't find any a powerful reason, at least not a single powerful reason to stay awake. So it went back to sleep. So many a times this giant wakes up when somebody knocks it. And how that somebody knocks it? When I take the initiative to read to attend a new training, to watch a inspiring video. When every time I do that, So that video, if I really find it interesting, that knocks the giant, and the giant wakes up. But then the giant looks around. The way you and I wake up early in the morning, we wake up in the morning and then we look around. If there is at all anything inspiring, motivating, encouraging for me. If there is something, I'll quickly get up, I'll go to the washroom, and I'll come to the kitchen. I'll drink a couple of glasses of warm water with little bit of lemon and honey. And then I will do some breathing exercises. I'll do a little bit of uh, meditation. And then I'll get into this session. I prepare myself to be in the session. And then I look for if somebody else is there in the session or not. Then I connect to the screen sharing. Then I play a video which I have scheduled for the session. This is normally I do these days since 3rd August 2023. उसके पहले भी कुछ कर रहे थे, almost about a month. But from 3rd August, I was absolutely serious about it. And that's what I do in the morning. That's it. Many of us don't even do that. And sometimes I don't feel like doing that, but since I'm responsible to run this show, so that pushes the giant to get up in the morning and do the chores which needs to be done and then get into the session. I discovered that this has become something of routine for me. तो जायंट को भी आदत लग गई, कुछ नहीं करना यार, सुबह उठो, ये करो वो करो, सेशन के लिए तैयार हो जाओ, सेशन लेते रहो, कोई आए ना आए क्या फर्क पड़ता है, तुम तो कुछ कर रहे हो, तुम में क्या फर्क पड़ा. So this is the question I ask myself this Saturday morning. Because on Saturdays and Sundays, I have all the reason not to get up at 5 o'clock because I don't have any session. I don't need to take any session. I'm not responsible to take any session. I'm not responsible to dare to show others that I am there. मेरे पास कुछ था ही नहीं. So Saturdays and Sundays, normally I used to get up at 6:30, maybe 6:45. Yeah, 7 o'clock, say, this practitioner course will be there. So उठ जाओ, participate in that. Sometimes I participate, sometimes I don't participate. Then on Saturdays, the 7 a.m. session that the Shivani and team, they organize every Saturday. So 7 to 8, कभी कभी उस session में भी आ जाता हूँ. Sometimes I am proactive in that session. Sometimes I am no way active, reactive or proactive in that session. Just बैठता हूँ, session सुनता हूँ, आधा सुना, आधा नहीं सुना. And then Sunday, actually, there was nothing to do. The Sunday was a day when I told that giant that relax करो, कुछ नहीं है, nothing to worry. कोई session तुम्हें तो करना ही नहीं है, कोई अगर कर रहा है तो चलो बैठ जाओ. So इन एवरी प्रैक्टिशनर कोर्स का सेशन होता था संडे को, मैं बैठ जाता था 7 बजे, वो भी विद इंटेंशन कि चलो सुनते हैं, पार्टिसिपेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम डूइंग. जायंट को उठा तो देता हूँ, अवेकन द जायंट विद, बट व्हाट आफ्टर दैट. Next 5 days will be all about what after that. It's not about just awakening the giant within. It's all about keep your giant awakening. जायंट को सोने मत दो, तुम सो जाओ, ठीक है, बस उस जायंट को सोने मत दो. And that's the promise I made to myself this Saturday. I created a structure for my trainings, and the structure has a very simple structure. I've shared it with many of you from time to time. The structure starts with observation, followed by connection, followed by calibration, followed by communication. And after that, the only thing which I added, and I share it in my paid programs, is make a difference. First four stages I have shared with many of you, not the last one. Communicate क्या करना है अपने आप, ऑब्जर्व कर लिया, कनेक्ट कर लिया, calibrate कर लिया. I have already shared all these things with all of you in just last 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I observed, I connected with myself or my dreams, whatever, and then I calibrated. Where am I? Like as I said, what that I'm doing with the giant, उसको उठाने के बाद क्या हो रहा है? Calibrating, then communicating, with the giant, and then said, चलो मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ, तुम भी मेरे साथ हो. तुम भी अकेले नहीं हो, मैं तुम्हारे साथ. चलो कम से कम हम दोनों तो हैं, और हमारे साथ भगवान है जिन्होंने हमें जन्म दिया. तो we are three people already. So what I should communicate to myself, to my giant? The communication is, चलो दुनिया बदलते हैं. Let's go and make a difference. If you have noticed that in all my programs, there's a tagline. And the tagline is, the last word of the tagline is, make MAD go mad. That MAD is make a difference. That's the message I communicated to myself. This I'm practicing for almost last few months, but this Saturday I was absolutely serious with myself. And as I got serious with myself, I thought about sharing this idea with the world out. If I want to make a difference with me and people in my life, the world out there, let me see where they are, where the world is. And with that thought, I shared the same video which I shared with you this morning, which I played with you, which I played this morning. I shared the video in my own personal group just to see what happens. Now, only you know whether you have watched that video or not. And if you have done that, what did you do with that giant inside you? उसको जगाया, या जगने के बाद खाली उसको बोला चल तेरे लिए मैं बाकी सब कुछ कर देता हूँ, और वो फिर से सो गया. You know, the giant within you has to be in your control, not in his control. That's why awakening the giant within is not going to work with many of you or all those millions of readers. This is one of the best sellers, one of the world's best sellers. Millions of copies have been sold. I don't know how many millions have been read. लेकिन एक दूसरा टोनी रॉबिन्स पैदा नहीं हुआ उसके बाद भी. क्योंकि सबके जायंट तो जाग गए, लेकिन उसको कैसे जगा के रखना है, that Tony Robbins shares in his programs. That is where he coaches people. And this coaching goes to only those who ask the second question, उसको कैसे जगा के रखना है. So this Saturday I made a contract with that giant within me. बहुत सो लिए हो. You have all the reasons to sometimes to go back to sleep. Don't get back to those reasons because those they look like reasons, but they are not reasons. They're excuses. Even excuses are reasons, but they are not strong enough to keep you awake. So I had a conversation with myself, and this conversation was very straightforward, exceptionally straightforward. Don't consider your reasons as reasons to not do something about what you want to do, not do something about what you want to be, not do something what you want to have. They look like reasons, but they are not reasons. They are excuses. और कितना जियोगे इन excuses के साथ? और कितना? How long? I had this conversation with myself, by the way. I'm not saying this to you. That's the conversation I had with myself. I said, enough is enough. Now stay awake. And that's why I connected to that uh, quote, which I share with many, which I have shared with many of you also, which written by APJ Abdul Kalam in his book, The Wings of Fire. कि सपने वो होते हैं जो आपको सोने नहीं देते. उसमें खाली मैंने एक ही एडिशन किया है. सपने वो होते हैं जो सोने नहीं देते और जो थकने नहीं देते. Dreams are not those that don't allow you to sleep, but they won't allow you to get tired also. Because when you get tired, you'll go to sleep. As simple as that. As simple as that. Wings of Fire, a beautiful book which states that when you don't allow your dreams to go to sleep, the dreams are those which will not allow you to go to sleep. What happens that उस ड्रीम्स के साथ जो पंख लगे हुए हैं ना, उस पंख में आग लग जाती है. You add fire to those. That's what Wings of Fire is all about. So that you can actually proceed towards your goal. But just make sure you don't get tired while flying. Otherwise, तुम्हारा सक्सेस का रॉकेट बीच रास्ते में जाके खत्म हो जाए और वो सीधा जाके गिरेगा या तो कंट्रोल के बाहर चला जाएगा. यही दो चीज होता है रॉकेट के साथ. If it crosses the atmosphere of the earth, gravitational pull of the earth, it will drop into the ocean or it will come back to the ocean and crash. If not, that will go out of control. Now you do not know where it's going, directionless. As Tony Robbins was talking about in this book, it goes by the flow. You are in the river, river जहाँ जा रही है आप वहीं जा रहे हो. तो थकना नहीं है, थकना मना है. और अगर थकना मना है तो आप चंद्रयान 3 भी लॉन्च कर सकते हो और वो चांद में पहुंच भी सकता है. बिल्कुल वहीं लैंड कर सकता है जहां पे आप उसको लैंड करवाना चाहते हैं. थोड़ा सा थक गए थे ना, इसलिए चंद्रयान 2 क्रैश लैंड हो गया था. थोड़ा सा थकान की वजह से, जरा सा. And imagine when that rover landed on moon, आपका एनर्जी लेवल्स कहाँ गया? एनर्जी लेवल्स ऑफ ऑल दो साइंटिस्ट, इमेजिन वो कहाँ था और अभी वो कहाँ पे है. ऐसा ही आपका और मेरे साथ होने वाला है अगर हम अपने जायंट को थकने नहीं देंगे। खुद भी नहीं थकेंगे, उनको भी थकने नहीं देंगे। I heard this news yesterday that there was a traffic jam on Mount Everest, human traffic. So many people are in the spree of climbing that mountain top today that you really need to wait. There's a waiting period before you can actually start climbing the last part of Mount Everest. There's too much traffic at the base camp of Mount Everest. Imagine what is happening. So many people. उसमें आपके और मेरे जान पहचान के कितने लोग हैं? So far, we got only two who have reached the base camp, and from there they return. There are two, right? One is Shilpa's elder son, and the other one is Monica from Bangalore. She is an NLP practitioner with us. इन दोनों को हम जानते हैं जो हमारे जानकारी में है और एवरेस्ट बेस कैंप तक पहुंचे। क्या हम लोग अपने एवरेस्ट के बेस कैंप तक पहुंचे अभी तक? वी ऑल्सो हैव सम एवरेस्ट फॉर लाइफ इफ यू वांट टू रीच समवेयर। एटलीस्ट मैं तो नहीं पहुंचा, नहीं तो मैं भी क्यों बीच बीच में थक जाता हूँ। So guys, awaken the giant within. That's just the starting point. Keeping it awakened is the next step. Okay, so here we go. And thank you guys for your so attention, love, and listening to me with so much of patience. It's only because of you that I can talk. It's only because of you I get inspired, motivated, and encouraged to keep my giant awake. I just want to express my gratitude to each one of you. Thank you so much.